Support and motivation for the young Indonesian footballers don't come only from an international professional player such as Giovanni, but also from two British soccer legends, Brian Robson and Steve McMahon, former Manchester United and Liverpool players. Both Brian, who was the longest-serving captain in Manchester United, and Steve, named as one of the 100 best players of all time, have won the FA Cup several times. They're in Indonesia to bring the FA Cup trophy during its tour in Asia, and their aim is to motivate young Indonesians to take part in international football matches. They share with me what they think of Indonesian players and how well they perform in the region. In your career, I mean, it's interesting, and then you sort of moved to this part of the world. You became a coach in Thailand. How did that come about? I mean, what interested you to actually go out and...
Well, it was in my early years at Middlesbrough. Terry Venables invited me to be his assistant manager with England for the '96 European Championships. And I had 2 years of that, and I really enjoyed it. And so I always thought, away from club management, I would like to have a go at international management. And it has been really enjoyable, working with the Thai boys, the different culture.
Why particularly Thailand? Is that the...
It was just the opportunity came up. The person who had took Peter Reid over to Thailand got in touch with me straight away. I'd spoke to Peter, and he said he'd really enjoyed it, but he wanted to get back into the Premiership. You know, so because of that, the opportunity just became available where I could work at international level.
And so how was it? I mean, what was your assessment of the team when you sort of managed it, and then what kind of things did you do in order to improve their game?
Thailand are a little bit naive on defensive side, you know, so I worked on that quite a bit to try and make us difficult to beat. But technique-wise, the players were very, very good, and so that was great to work with that when the technique's good, because you know that you've got ability where you can win games. So overall, I'd say the Asian games when we went there, I thought we did very well, we played well, but Japan beat us in the quarter-final, who eventually went on to win the competition. So I thought that competition we did quite well, and I was really pleased with the players. Then we came to Indonesia and unfortunately got knocked out in the Suzuki Cup, and we didn't win any of the 3 games. That was a disappointment for me, but for me the reason for that was the preparation. The preparation, I only had 1 day training with the players, where Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia had sort of 2-3 months to prepare the players. So I think that was a big disappointment for me.
But what do you think of the Indonesian team? How do they play overall?
After we played them and they beat us 2-1, I would have lost money, because if I'd had a bet, I thought that Indonesia would go on to win the competition. But to be fair to Malaysia, you know, against Vietnam in the semi-final and then in the final against Indonesia, they played very well.
But Steve, what do you think of the Asian skills as a whole, I mean, compared to the sort of the world, the big players?
Yeah,
how big is the gap?
It's very big. It's massive. It's no good. It's no good kidding anybody. The gulf is huge, and you need infrastructure at this part of the world, because it's all here. I mean, by definition, the population even here is 250 million. You got India 1.2 billion. You know, the smallest is Singapore, but the rest, Thailand, and it's huge. And the support.
What would be the first thing to fix in order
coaching?
to...
I would bring talented coaches to this part of the world, even on a short-term basis. So every 2 or 3 months, maybe you bring a host of coaches in, coach them, coach the coaches as well, good habits, because you know, a coach might be teaching youngsters bad habits, which is not going to improve this youngster. So you need top quality coaches throughout Asia to make everybody better, to make the game better and improve the game. And who knows, the rankings will go down, in world football, and you'll produce better players. It's not rocket science. It just needs infrastructure, and it needs a lot of thought and a lot of money put into
I think another part of that is the country needs to send coaches away and let them go on courses in European countries, South American countries, wherever they think the education for coaches is very good. So if they go on courses like that, and then they get the pro license and they get that good, then it's like Steve says, when they come back, now they can develop the young talent.
But what about in England at the moment? Is the infrastructure still very good? The education, the training, the coaching is
second to none. There's no excuses in England anymore. The academies are absolutely magnificent, state of the art. There's no excuse for failure in England. Everything's there for them. You know, for breakfast of a morning, hostels, education, money's there, facilities. It's just magnificent all, and it's a criteria that you must be up to Premier League standard for academies. And with Brian, perhaps they should come over to Europe and have a look at the structure, the infrastructure, have a look at the coaches, and gain knowledge, and let's have a transfer of knowledge as well.
Steve, you're talking about, you know, you've got to be a winner.
Yes.
So what are the elements that make a winning team? How do you
It's not necessarily the best players. I mean, it's having the right balance of winners, you know. You have to be dedicated. You have to work for each other. It's a team game. You can't be an individual in football. If you try to be an individual, then it won't work. You know, you might be talented, but you've got to be part of that team. And in any business, you have to be a team in order to be successful. You have to work together, and all the best players in the world do that very, very well.
What do you think would be sort of the remedy to actually put together a really solid national team?
It's difficult, but you look at Spain, and exactly what Brian's saying. They've got 6, 7, 8 players who've come in at the right time together. They've been brought up together. They play, the 6 of them play, 7 of them play for Barcelona in the same team. So they have a fantastic understanding with each other, and that's what makes them very special.
Yeah.
In England, you very rarely play with each other on a regular basis, but Barcelona have 7 of them playing together week in, week out, so they know exactly where they're coming from, and they know exactly what style of play. And I think England are just in between, don't know what style of play they want, and whether they pick the best players or whether they pick the best team, and there's a big difference.
Football tips. Let's wrap it up on, you know, what sort of tips and message would you like to give to sort of the Indonesian football?
Work very, very hard. Work. Don't leave anything. You know, if you've got talent, don't waste it. You know, to try and do your best and give 100% in everything you do, every training session, every game you play in. That's all you can ask. If at the end of the day you fall short because of lack of talent, then fine, so be it. But you must try, and you must work hard. And I think it was Gary Player, the golfer, said, the more I practice, the luckier I become. Which is a great saying, I think, because he meant it in tongue-in-cheek that you have to practice, practice, practice. And it's a great saying. So that's all I would say to children, is practice.
Yeah, for the kids out there, for me, dedication. You've got to dedicate yourself if you want to be successful at anything, whether it's business or football. But the main thing for any young kids who play football is you've got to enjoy it. And the more you enjoy it, probably the better you'll get at it.
Great. Can we have you lifting the cup?
Don't tell security, will you?
Because I'd love to see you lift the FA Cup.
Don't say that. We'll drop it.
Yeah, we'll drop it, yeah.
That's
Safe, sound.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ryan, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, nice to see you.
Good luck,
Nice.
Steve.
Thank you.
Pemain Indonesia mungkin bisa belajar dari Steve sama Brian itu mental, dari segi mental, karena jujur harus diakuin timnas Indonesia tuh sebenarnya pemainnya banyak yang bagus, tapi mentalnya kurang. Udah gitu semangat mereka juga kurang greget gimana gitu, kalau misalnya udah mereka ketinggalan beberapa 0 gitu, nggak bangkit.